Nothing epitomises modern football quite like the two photographs I was sent during the midweek game against Liverpool. The photographs were taken inside the London Stadium, and well, I think one of them's actually mildly amusing, to be fair. Sad, but amusing. And the other one's just sort of sad and worrying and indicative of the way things are going, really. The first one's a gentleman enjoying the brand new London all-inclusive free-to-use Wi-Fi. He's brought his laptop with him. I'm sure there's lots of people take a laptop to the game. I'm not sure they actually get their laptop out during the game and start doing some work, though, which is clearly what the guy was doing. He's got some brass watsits to do as well, and the fact that nobody turned around and said, "Oi, mate, come on, give it a rest, will you?" Anyway, it's his own business, I guess. But it does go to highlight, something that's quite prevalent in modern football, which is just basically people coming to football and not watching the football. The other guy is a Liverpool fan, sat in the home end. I don't think that's unusual, by the way. I've got to admit, I've done it. Been down to Southampton before. I could always get tickets for Southampton when I couldn't get away tickets. I've gone and sat in the home end quietly, kept myself to myself. Never dreamt of going in with this hat or something like that. But the fact that this guy has felt comfortable enough to do it, even considering that the club were testing fans' authenticity. How West Ham are you? If we cut you open, do you bleed pie and mash? They basically put some measures into place to stop Liverpool fans getting into the home end. It didn't work. I mean, this is one picture. Apparently, it was absolutely rife. And it is quite indicative of modern football and a little bit worrying. But there's a lot of stuff with modern football that we don't like. So I started to have a little look, and there's loads of stuff we don't like. Yes, I think we all... Well, look at David Gold. David Gold was very fond of those old urinals, wasn't he, at Upton Park? But there's a lot of stuff that we were very fond of, and there's a lot of stuff that we are not quite so keen on now. The one that gets everybody's blood boiling, of course, is the half and half scarf. Why would you? Why would you? Seems like a strange thing to do, but it's clearly there for day trippers. It's there as a memento of the day. But what I've got to say is, if you've got people inside the ground with their laptops open, catching up and doing a bit of overtime, away fans in the home section, and people that are going to the ground who have so little affiliation or affinity to one club or another that they're happy to wear a half and half scarf, how can we be surprised that there's no atmosphere in these modern stadiums? How can there be? Because we've lost almost the very essence of what used to make football noisy, gritty, nasty and great. Another one of the big things, and this has got me torn. In fact, a lot of it's got me torn. I'm not sure I would say to someone that was a day tripper, by the way. Let's say someone has brought their kid along and you see him buying a half and half scarf and they go in. Not only am I not sure, I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't go up to a mum with her son and say, "Oh, what's your little kid that got half and half scarf for?" I wouldn't do it. It's people's business. But it's the gradual diluting of what goes on at football. And what I was about to say was, for a lot of people, the popcorn is a massive issue. And I don't think it's popcorn itself. Well, it should be, because it's horrible. I mean, why anybody eats... Never forget about football. Why anybody would eat popcorn is totally beyond me. It tastes like cardboard. The texture's like cardboard. It only tastes like when you put loads and loads of flavour in it. It's nasty. It's nasty, nasty stuff. And why people feel they've got to eat a bucket of it, I've no idea. I understand the concept of a bucket of chicken. Fried chicken, very nice. Cardboard within a bucket of cardboard, not so much. But I don't think... I think it's symbolic. I think the popcorn is symbolic of the way football is changing. I'm not sure if we'd have remained at Upton Park and everything had been the same, would the popcorn have got the same amount of stick? I think it would have got some stick, but not the same amount. Now, fortunately, my children feel the same way about popcorn as I do. They would, in all honesty, they would rather have a pack of Haribo or something like that. There's any number of things they would like before popcorn. But I do think if you were a parent and your kid asked you, for popcorn at a stadium, you've got a bit of a dilemma. Because whilst the old-fashioned football fan within you might say, no, you're not having that popcorn. The father in you, imagine explain that to your wife. They come home, oh, mummy, daddy did not let us have any popcorn. Well, why don't you let them have popcorn? Why don't you buy them popcorn? Well, it's not very, you just don't do that sort of thing at football, love. I don't know. It's a sticky wicket is all I'm saying. Right, what do you want to eat? Burger and chips, hot dog?
Actually, can I please have some popcorn?
Popcorn? Popcorn? What do you mean this is? It's not a cinema, is it? Hey? It's a football match. You can't eat popcorn at a football match. What you do is you can eat like a man, son, like a man. You can eat like a man too. You have reconstituted beef with ears and gristle and hoofs and all the rest of it in it. That's what you do at football, not popcorn.
No.
2 burgers, please, and a white wine spritzer, please, love. Of course, there are other things that get people's blood boiling. Some of them stupid, some of them amusing, some of them are just wrong. The changing of fixture schedules and of kick-off times to suit the television. I think that's got to annoy pretty much everybody. It's wrong, but we've just seen for so long our 3 p.m. kickoffs have just been falling by the wayside. There's so few of them. Whenever we've got a 3 p.m. kickoff on a Saturday, I think it's a treat. It feels like a bit of a treat. I think it's also nice to be in the ground and to hear the other results come in. There's something nice about a 3 p.m. kickoff. But we can find ourselves. We might have a Saturday fixture at 3 o'clock, and because Sky or BT or whoever come in, we find that actually we might be playing Timbuktu Rovers on a Wednesday night with no coach there or back either. The trains are off. And I think we are an irrelevance. As fans, we're not very important. We used to be important because we used to produce such a large turnover, with such a large amount of the money that came into a football club was fans coming through the turnstiles. It ain't anymore. It's a small percentage. What we are, we're basically a backdrop. We're that. We're a poster. That's all we are. When the football's on, some people go, and they're even taking that away from us, let's be fair, because a very modern thing, of course, is VAR as well. Even that is taking it away, is spoiling it. Don't know whether to celebrate now, do you? We had it against Liverpool. I didn't think it was I thought it was a penalty. But the very fact that Liverpool, fantastic team. By the way, don't need the help of VAR referees or anything else. But they celebrated when it was ruled in their favour. VAR just shows almost everything that's wrong with it, and it creates a huge delay. Another thing, again, I don't know how modern it is. I think if it's done well, it can be all right. And what I'm talking about is it's easy for me to say, pre-planned celebrations. I don't know if you remember when Jimmy Bullard did one. And I think he was taking the mickey out of his manager. And he got everyone around a circle who started wagging his finger. I think that was fine. But the contrived ones are a little bit weird, aren't they? Let's be fair. The one that always sticks in my mind is Dele Alli and Harry Kane. Something like that. Don't know. I think, it's sad. Oh, it's sad. Oh, it's really, really sad. It don't look right. It's sad. It just seemed like a couple of wrong uns when they do it, quite frankly. But the pre-prep is so contrived. And you think, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you there at night with your little pad and your little bit of paper? Oh, if I score tomorrow, let's see. I mean, why? What? Crazy. Mental. Anyway, I'm not sure how modern it is, though. Let's be absolutely fair about that. What else have we got on the list? People filming themselves when they're at games. It's a disgrace. I'd say it's a disgrace. I don't know, everyone's got the nerve to do it. Just watch it. Enjoy the game. That's what I say. Oh, clapping through a minute's silence. Okay, I do have a bit of I've got my own opinion on this. I think it's all right to clap through a minute's silence on some occasions. I think if you are celebrating a long, successful and fruitful life where everything has been achieved, I think you applaud. I think you applaud the career. I think you applaud the person. Martin Peters would be a case in point. Martin Peters deserved applause because for everything that he'd done. He was an absolute legend. What I don't like is when something is genuinely sad. When somebody is taken too early. I'll give you the example of a Mark Vivian Foe. Now, I honestly couldn't tell you whether that was applauded through. I think it wasn't. I think the minute's silence was well observed. But I think that is a life taken too early. That's sad. That's tragic. That's very, very wrong. I don't think there's any applause in that at all. I don't think there's any celebration. It's not the same as the 85-year-old who's achieved everything in his career, has had his children, has had his grandchildren, and has lived a fruitful life. So there is room for applause. There really is. But as I say, sometimes I think it's apt, some things I think it's not. Transfer deadline day hysteria. You either like it or you don't. I quite like. I don't know if I like transfer deadline day per se. I quite like the transfer window because I like to think that West Ham might buy some players. The whole reason I'm doing this video today, which is sponsored by the OneFootball app, nearly forgot. Links in the description below. If we do sign anybody, you'll find out in that. Go on, it's free. Click it, download it. Helps us out. Anyway, transfer deadline day hysteria. Yeah, I used to like it when the reporters used to stand outside the ground, outside the training ground. Say, we're here now. We got rumours that such and such is coming. We've seen a blacked out BMW pull in there, but we've got no confirmation from the club as yet. And all the fans will be behind, pulling face. Well, I say they're doing that. That is old fashioned. We're doing that. They're doing that now, aren't they? All of that stuff. So but they stopped doing it, didn't they? Invited them into the training ground because the fans were ruining it. I can't stand Jim White though, so he's a massive. He gets his yellow tie on and acts excited because someone's signing for Tranmere Rovers or whoever. Whatever. Some things I don't like about modern football. Ronaldo v Messi. I can't believe that, man. Goalkeepers holding on to the ball for too long. That's not modern. You used to be able to pass it back to the goalkeeper. The defenders used to be able to pass it back to the goalkeeper and they pick it up. I don't think that's modern. Unique shirts. Oh, don't get me wrong. Was it last season West Ham had 5 shirts out or something like that? Absolutely ridiculous. They had one, of course, did you remember? I did the video, they had the gaming, so they got the gamers, didn't they? The people that are signed up to West Ham, not to play real football, but to play, football. This sort of football. This gear. It's very good. Like me. They could pay me to play that if they want. Anyway. They're giving their own shirts, so you can buy a West Ham shirt. Esports. It's called esports. Show me age there. Celebrity referees. Yeah, absolutely. Is it Mike Dean? Just gives it very animated, isn't he? Try and makes it all about him. Not about you, mate. Bans for 2 yellow cards. I'm not sure about that. Transfers made for brand purposes. People don't like that. How often does it actually happen? Shinji Kagawa. He was the one, wasn't he? But he was all right. That's what I always say. Buy a Japanese player or say you sell loads of shirts in Japan. He was all right. Ball boys playing the full. Who made this list up? FA Cup semi-finals at Wembley. I'd agree with that. Should be a special day, the final at Wembley. Semi-finals there. Not for me. Oh dear. Throwing pints in fan zones. Well, I don't know about in fan zones. I certainly do remember you get very, very wet in the bowling. Players covering their mouths when they're talking. They do it very paranoid, aren't they? They don't want anyone to see what they're saying in case there's a lip reader. What on earth can they be possibly saying that's so private? Must be very naughty, is all I'm saying. I mean, what they're probably not saying is, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go on the pitch in a minute. Look after me bib and me tracksuit, will you? All right, cheers. I mean, what are they doing? I don't know. The section of Wembley that's empty from the 45th to the 55th minute, that's the corporate set. That's Club Wembley. That's Club Wembley. They bought those seats. They're not necessarily. The thing is, the people that bought those seats do not necessarily have any interest in the match that's there. They're just corporate seats at Wembley. They don't. So if you might be I don't know, you might be a Norwich fan that's bought that seat. There's a Johnston Paint Trophy match there between Rotherham and Grimsby. Why are you going to bother? Football fair play in the Football League. You're killing ambition. You're killing anybody getting up and eating at the top table. Right, in fact, I'm going to leave it there because as you go down the list, it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. But I will leave you with those pictures of those two people, and I would very, very much like to know what you think. What do you? Do you know what? Not only tell me what you don't like about modern football in the comments below, and please do, because when I'm travelling up on the train on Saturday, and I've got nothing to do, I'll be reading these. So I'll be interested to know. But I'll tell you what, in fairness, to give equal opportunity to the counter argument, why don't you also tell me what you like about modern football?